Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. There is a document that has been filed onto the court docket in the high-profile Idaho case of State of Idaho versus Stacy James Wondra. By way of background, this case deals with the disappearance and presumed unaliving of Michael Vaughn nearby his home in the small Idaho town of Fruitland, which is located close to the Oregon-Idaho border, back in 2021. In June of 2025, an affidavit of probable cause, followed by a criminal complaint, was filed, which opened the matter of Idaho versus Wondra. His records are available for you to review as a member of the public free of charge on the Idaho Cases of Interest website. This case, along with that of State of Idaho versus Brian C. Koberger, are the only two trial court cases that are available on that public website maintained by the Idaho courts. All of the remaining cases there deal with appellate proceedings. There is a document that is entitled Records Request Form that was submitted on the 9th of March 2026 by K.L. Ramsey. She is requesting specific documents from March 3rd to the 5th of 2026. She's cited here as the case name Stacy Wondra. And the reason for the request, relation to the case, is as follows. I am the mother of Sarah, and then in parentheses, Ramsey Wondra. I wish to read what was said in the hearing to be better informed. And then underneath that handwritten statement, there is on this form the disclaimer: by submitting this judicial records request, I certify that I will not use the disclosed information for an illegal purposes. Date, March 9th, 2026, signed by Ms. Ramsey. Now, by way of background, Sarah Ramsey Wondra is or was Mr. Wondra's wife, and he was her wife at the time of Michael's disappearance back in 2021. Underneath the section filled out by Mrs. K.L. Ramsey is the following statement, and it says clerk's office use only below line, request granted for, and this is request denied is checked. And then under the judge's comments, it's stated pursuant to ICAR K4, that's an Idaho rule of court, the preliminary hearing transcript may be obtained from the court reporter subject to payment. This is dated the 10th of March 2026, signed by Judge McCarthy. By way of further background, March 3rd through the 5th of 2026, as Judge McCarthy is referencing here, was the date and time of the preliminary hearing, where the state of Idaho was required to come forward in an open public courtroom, present evidence to the, at the time, Judge Lee, the magistrate judge, in an attempt to persuade Judge Lee to bind Mr. Wondra over for trial. The end of this 3-day proceeding, Judge Lee did just that, and the case was then transferred to district court. Judge McCarthy was named by the administrative judge as the new judge. However, as we previously reported to you, Mr. Wondra submitted a motion seeking the recusal of Judge McCarthy, and that motion was granted by virtue of entry of a court order. But again, this denial of Ms. Ramsey's request came before Judge McCarthy was recused from the case. We will continue to keep you posted. Specifically, at this time, no other district court judge has been identified as of yet who will be the trier of the law in State versus Wondra. We are awaiting that court order to hit the docket. And when it does, we will notify you. So please stay tuned to the Indie Zone for further updates relative to the case of Idaho versus Wondra. Until next time, this is Kathy. Thank you for joining us here today.